Golden Auto Body Style 718-939-2006. The Landmark Cafe is signed on as the seasonal charger sponsor for the season. Located at 2330 Route 112 in Medford, just a half a mile south of the Long Island Expressway, the Landmark offers happy hour specials from 4 until 7, where you'll find jumbo cocktails and jumbo beers. You can also enjoy 10-cent buffalo wings and 10-cent shrimp, or sit down and enjoy a great dinner on their extensive menu. The Landmark Cafe. Great people and fun food. For additional information, call them at 654-8160. So those are two seasonal sponsors. Look like the car number.
Yes, they never told anybody.
That's a problem. So they're starting fourth. You might be starting last.
Maybe they should back up the board.
Right.
Well, that's not getting that.
Okay, this will be Breeze, Ben Shepherd. Scott Wolf is your leader. Tom St. Clair is second. Dennis is third. Mark Hudson, fourth.
Number 66, last week's feature event winner, and it was his second on the
You're
season.
the next race, Dave?
That's Tim Black.
Yeah.
Starting
Yes,
20th,
next,
driving car number 45, the RT Motorsports entry for
We're turn up the battery.
Gardner
Huh?
of
We'll turn up the
Westbury.
battery.
No, I'm panning all the way out.
Starting 21st,
All the way in, so you
driving
get the
car
wide
number
angle on,
25,
right?
Oh,
that'll be Steve
all the way in?
Verselli of
Well, so that it's the
Yeah,
widest
you
angle.
was sponsor wanted automobile. Starting 22nd in the United Exhaust Shops number 3, that'll be Ralph Corsini of Bayshore. While starting 23rd, in car number 6, it comes all the way from Ozone Park.
That's perfect. Leave it like that. Don't even touch that.
Seppi in the
Just
Buick.
hit the button, and if you have
Starting
to,
21st. Scotty the Kid pulls away. Marvin continues to roll. Jack Orlando went to the pits. Oh, he's going to go to the pits, though. Car number 99, he has damage. Maybe he doesn't. No, he's rolling around pretty good now.
spectacular accident ever to happen at Riverhead Raceway.
Spectacular and scary. That's the only way to describe Tom Smalley's wild ride. 2 weeks ago, his number 94 flipped over 4 times before catapulting over the wall and landing in front of the pit stands. Smalley escaped uninjured, but he says he'll never forget that eerie feeling.
It happened so fast, within like 5 seconds. It's kind of quiet up there. Things happen so fast. At the end there, I kind of just closed my eyes and I was along for the ride. And the car came to a rest. I got out of the car as fast as I could. I saw some flames.
When attention focused back to the racing action, fans saw Howie Brody take the high road around Bill Eastman for the win.
Well, my car wasn't working too good on the bottom, and he had a push, so I figured I'd try to keep it up there. But he was running pretty good. It was hard to get around him. But my friend Mike McHenry and Big Donald, they set this race car up, and it was superb tonight. It was the best I've ever driven.
Last week, Bill Eastman got his revenge. He flew by the field to take home his first feature win this season. Action at the end of June was exciting, but who can forget Larry LaFontaine's move past Mike Herold in the last week of May. After Lafo squeezed past Herold, he cruised into victory lane. The following week, fans were treated to a wire-to-wire performance by Pete Melillo. He watched his competition in the rear-view mirror, driving his way across the finish for his first win of the season.
Today's Pit Tip is brought to you by Oval Speed Unlimited of Massapequa Park, always catering to the oval track racer. If Tom Smalley were in a normal passenger car during that accident, he would have been severely injured. So what kept him virtually unscathed? It all comes down to NASCAR safety regulations. Oval Speed's Dennis Freese joins us to tell us what kept Tom safe during that accident.
Well, NASCAR mandates a number of different safety rules. Major one, in this case, being the roll cage. The roll cage took the abuse. It bent, but it didn't damage enough to hurt the driver. Front hoop bent, didn't damage enough to hurt the driver. Most of the pieces on this car are bent or damaged, but didn't damage the driver. The impact wasn't felt by the driver. You come around the back of the car, they allow you to use Lexan instead of glass. The Lexan broke, but it didn't shatter. You didn't get glass all over the driver. Same thing on this side of the car. Everything you see is bent, damaged, hurt. Roll cage again took the abuse of flipping over the wall.
Dennis, a fire broke out as soon as Tom's car made impact with the ground. What put out the flames right away?
Yeah, there was a fire in the engine compartment. Tom's car was equipped with a fire bottle. It's a fire extinguisher. Cable runs to the driver. The driver wants to put a fire out. He pulls a pin, pulls the cable, puts the fire out, extinguishes the fire right away. This car also has mandated NASCAR safety belts. 5-point harness, shoulder, belt, crotch strap, holds him in the car. Neck brace so his head doesn't flop around. Gloves, so in case the car does catch fire, he's protected.
Now, this wasn't the only instance this year where the safety regulations have come into play. I understand this is a seat from John Shortell's late model car earlier this season. What happened?
Yeah, on impact, a strut rod came through the back of the car into the cockpit and caught the back of the seat. Severely damaged the seat. Driver again is okay. Had this been a fiberglass seat, an inexpensive, poor quality aluminum seat, he would have gotten hurt.
Today's Late Model Report is brought to you by All Pro Auto Parts, coming to a store near you. Safety was a major concern last week as well. An accident breaks out on the first lap of the late model feature. Pete Erickson's fuel cell is punctured, and Erickson's car bursts into a ball of fire. Panic sets in, but the safety equipment does its job. Pete climbs out of his fully engulfed racer and runs from the flames.
Fuzzy, first of all, are you A-okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I got out in plenty of time. The suit, everything did what it was supposed to do. The gloves, the helmet, the suit. I mean, never got touched by it.
When the fire was finally extinguished, Paul McInerney took the lead from John Shortell on lap 6. Quinn Volcraft and Ron Thiel were locked in a fender-rubbing battle later in the race. The duo ends up rubbing once too often, though. Volcraft spins on lap 16, enabling Thiel to grab second. But it's McInerney who takes his first win of the year. Thiel's Levitt's Furniture late model was in the thick of things the week before as well. Tony Urbina took the top spot early on from John Shortell by playing a little bumper tag. But Urbina would have to fend off Thiel's bold move out of the final corner to take his first career win. Despite Erickson's dramatic fire, he has been red hot this past month. The Hempstead Harley driver became the first back-to-back winner in the division by scoring victories in the last race of May and the first race of June. The official golf cart of Long Island Trackside is provided by North Shore Golf Cart Service of Glen Cove.
Call the late models, split the practice, and crews are allowed.
Flagging the races. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. For the past 6 years, that somebody has been Eddie Harold.
I flag all the races, and I'm in charge of keeping things in order on the racetrack. As far as the start should be done professionally, the restart should be done professionally.
A job like this requires a good right-hand man. That would be the assistant starter, Bruce Knoll.
He knows which way I'm going to go, I know which way he's going to go, and basically we're a team.
But this 5-year-old team is going to split soon. Come July 9th, Eddie will retire and turn over his flags to Bruce. This is a big deal. Are you ready to be head starter?
Yes, I am. I really am. I've been waiting a long time for it.
How long?
14 years.
Is it a hard job?
Pressure's on. Pressure's on. You can, a lot of your decisions that you make have to be made quickly, and you hope that they're right.
It takes a lot of being to pay attention and watching everything.
Now, these two are usually in agreement.
But there is one thing you do differently, the figure 8 race.
Well, that I watched Ray Marciano do it, and at Island Speedway, he ran backwards. And when Eddie took over being a starter, he was doing it from the wall. It just didn't look right, you know. That's, fans look for that. There was a lot of cheers with that stuff. So when I became the starter for the figure 8s, I wanted to do it just the way he did. But I will not run backwards.
But no matter how Bruce handles the job, it won't be easy for racing fans to forget Eddie, especially me. No one else has patience enough to teach me how to flag.
Yeah, you want to get a kind of,
Okay.
Don't be about a material.
Okay.
This way your finger can help guide your wrist, so when you're swinging it, you want to give it one of these. You want to let your wrist do the work, not your arm. Let the wrist do the swinging. This way you can grab it a little better. Down here, you're trying to swing a baseball bat.
So there is an art to this. There certainly is, and Eddie has mastered it.
My assistant, he's got that hunger now that I had 10 years ago, and he wants it more than I do right now. I got other priorities, and I've enjoyed myself to the utmost out here.
Jen Kranz for Long Island Trackside.
We'll be back with more of Long Island Trackside right after this. Riverhead Raceway. Home of the 600 horsepower modified madness. Come see these rockets blast around the quarter-mile oval. And if you dare catch a glimpse of the crazy figure 8s, where the X marks the spot. Every Saturday night, catch 5 divisions of race cars rubbing fenders at Riverhead Raceway. The National Modified Tour rolls into Riverhead Raceway this weekend. And on July 2nd, see fireworks blast into the sky. Plus, the Demo Derby. Racing starts at 5:30 every Saturday night at Riverhead Raceway.
Having a party?
Yes, and I'd love to rent a tent so we'll all be comfortable. I'll need tables, chairs, and linen, china, glasses, and silverware, buffet tables, and a bar. Oh, and we must have a dance floor.
Rain or shine, AAA Party Rentals has everything for the party. We provide free, no-obligation home tent estimates. Plus, now through Labor Day, we offer 10% discounts up to $75. Find us fast in the 9X Yellow Pages and call 932-9600.
Oh, the party's at night.
AAA Party Rentals, everything for the party except the guests.
The following is paid for by the OBI. If you've ever suffered injuries from an attorney, you're not alone. It's happening all the time. When Americans created a super fund to clean up the environment, we created a super fund for lawyers who stepped in and took about 80% of that money. Then they cleaned up again. This time, when the plaintiffs of asbestos suits got their awards, lawyers stepped in for their share and grabbed more than 65% of that money. If you've ever suffered injuries from a lawyer, join us and help correct the system. Call now. The proceeding is paid for by the OBI.
No one saves you more than Edwards Superfood Stores, with thousands of bonus buys, fresh savings on produce, and Gold Star meats at everyday low prices, plus discounts on hundreds of pre-priced national brands.
Just look. Mott's apple juice, 64-ounce bottle, 2 for $3. Minute Maid Naturals, 46-ounce bottle, 2 for $3. And Mardi Gras paper towels, 85-count roll, 2 for $1.
Edwards, if you're looking for everyday low prices, all the signs are right. At Edwards, with our total lower cost, you'll cart home the savings.
He's simply known as the Racer, and the Racer is back with a vengeance after half a decade away from the sport of auto racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the checkered flag is flying. For the first time since 1987, Tom the Racer MaCann is in Riverhead Raceway, victory lane.
Winning that race a couple weeks ago after a 6-year absence, that must have been something special.
It was an exciting event for me and for my whole family, now that I think about it. Something I'd been thinking about since I got hurt 6 years ago. And to make a comeback like we did at this point in time was extra special.
How did you get hooked up with John Doherty?
Well, when I was testing the legend car for Ray last May, got a kick out of driving that again and getting my race suit back on and what have you, and said to him, geez, I'd like to get back into racing modifieds. And he said, well, I have this friend John Doherty, he's had a car sitting in his garage. He says, why don't we go talk to him?
We talked a little bit. A few months went by and that was it. I never heard from him again. All of a sudden around November, the phone rang. He goes, are you still interested? And I kind of said, yeah.
Now, this isn't the first time you have come back. In 1986, you returned to Riverhead Raceway and won 5 races.
Yeah, we were just racing with Tom Durkin at that time down in Wall Stadium, and kind of were getting on the tail end of our relationship there. I decided that the traveling was killing us, and it was time to come back to Long Island, and that's what happened. We wound up coming back with the car here, with my brother and I as co-owners, partners, and we turned out to be real successful.
But why another comeback at the age of 42? What do you have to accomplish?
The car retired me 6 years ago. I got hurt, not because I wanted to, obviously, but I got involved into a little crash and tore up my hand and my arm pretty good.
How did your family react to you getting behind the wheel of a race car again?
I didn't tell anybody. You know, there was a lot of rumors flying around, but the racing news in this house was kind of very subdued and very quiet. And it came down to the car coming to the house that next day, and I figured it was time to tell Donna. And so we're laying in bed, and I said, Donna, I have to tell you something. She goes, what? I says, I'm going modified racing this year. And she goes, oh, no, you're not. And I said, oh, yes, I am. The next morning, she got up and said to me, well, what color is the car going to be? And I says, you know, I don't even know just yet. So I knew she was kind of caving in a little bit, so.
Now, you've been bringing back lots of great memories with your driving style, memories that date back to the 70s and 80s with the battles you had with your arch rival, Charlie Jazombek.
Charlie was the man to beat. There is no doubt about that. He was probably one of the greatest short track drivers in the history of this sport.
We had a lot of fun racing with Charlie and learned a lot from him. Learned that the outside was the place to be if you're going to race and win.
This year, it looks like you can do just about anything on the track. Is it the car, the driver? What's your secret?
Well, I don't know. I wish I had the actual secret. It's a combination, I believe, of everything. It's like, it's a race team, and we all put in an effort. The car itself is 6 years old, you know. It's a fossil, quote-unquote, in race terms. And I guess me being a little bit more on in years kind of go right along with the car. But we have some things that worked in 1987, and fortunately for me, they still work in 1994.
You've had a great career, but you've never won a championship, and you've said that's your goal for this year.
Definitely. We came 2 points short about 1981, maybe 1980, I don't remember, to Charlie. He won it. And we were close. We were real close. And at that point in time, going back, I remember having to just finish one feature, and I would have secured the race, didn't have to race the next week. But me being a thick-headed Irishman, went for the lead and crashed, going for the win, and cost me the point championship that year. And I learned from that as well. That won't happen this year. We're in 10th. That's something I would like to do again, is not be 2 points short. I want to be 2 points ahead.
Today's modified highlights are brought to you by T&F Auto Body of Huntington Station, your complete auto body specialist for more than 40 years. A new face graced victory circle during the last race in May. Sophomore sensation Chuck Stoyer led green to checker in the 50-lap event. 2 weeks later, the Mod Squad was dancing between the raindrops. Lenny Fisher took command from the start, but he felt the pressure. Fisher drifts high out of turn 4, but Don Howe is right there. The defending Mod champ smacks the wall, ending his night. Now Chris Young applies the heat, and with 2 laps to go, he lays a bumper on Fisher, and around goes the 85. Young goes on to take the win.
We both are racing for the lead. Lenny had a loose car. He had a loose car all night, and he got it loose twice coming off the second turn there. That's what happens when you race hard.
Well, we got into turn 1 a little bit. I guess Chris decided he was going to go underneath me, and just he got in the back of me and sent us around.
Last week, Don Howe left the field in his dust, but with just a couple laps to go, the Panhard bar broke in his racer. Despite the smoke, Howe nursed it to his second win of the season. And now we turn to Art Mochi.
If you've been wondering why the car count in the modified field seems to be a little smaller than in recent years, you're not alone. We turned to some of the drivers to find out why.
You have to spend more money to keep the car here every week. So, you know, it's just a big expense out of the pocket. Now, you add in the crashes on top of that, because it's been pretty rough out this year, and that's more expense, so it makes it tougher yet for the guys to come back each and every week.
The expense of modifieds is great, and without the help of sponsors, it's really tough to do.
Another class that's going through growing pains is the figure eights. We asked a couple of drivers what they thought was behind this year's weaker turnout.
We switched over to the V8s. It scared a lot of people away.
Years ago, it was a cheap division to get into, so I guess they took the gamble, you know? Now it's a lot of money to get into it, so I don't know, you know. I don't know if it's just people don't have money this year or what. I'm hoping that they come back because I still want to keep on doing it.
While the modifieds and figure eights appear to be struggling, classes like the late models, well, they're doing just fine. With the addition of a few rookies, the field has really grown and become much more competitive.
Down south, this is the premier division. The modifieds is second. So in my opinion, this is the top division. Moving up to the late model division gave me an opportunity to run with, you know, a lot more experienced veteran drivers. The cars are a lot quicker. There's more driving involved. But I think the experience comes into play, and it really helps you run a lot better.
Some of the most exciting action has come from the Charger division this year. Qualifying is tougher, and it seems drivers like it better that way.
It's competitive because of like 47 cars in this class, but that's what makes racing more of a challenge. When you start in the rear, you got to work your way up to the front. I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes you work harder, and you feel better if you get by them or whatever. It's a good challenge.
Not to ignore the blunderbuss division, but it seems rain or shine, blunderbuss drivers are always out in force, putting on a great show for the fans. For Long Island Trackside, I'm Art Mochi.
The road to good car maintenance is paved with faulty parts, lame excuses, and bad advice that push your patience and wallet to the limit. Tired of traveling the long and winding road? Head straight to All Pro for quality parts, expert advice, and great prices.
All Pro Auto Parts features AP exhaust for your car's needs. Quality parts and low prices only at All Pro.
So don't hit the road with just anybody. Rely on the auto parts specialist at All Pro.
Ron Harrison looked to be on his way to his first ever victory in our first figure eight report, but with 2 laps to go, those anxious moments may have gotten to him. Harrison gets loose, allowing Tommy Ryan to slip by for the lead and the win. Harrison held the lead once again the next week, but lost the handle on lap number 10. Joe Biondolillo Jr. grabbed the top spot, and despite his pop providing a few sparks, Biondolillo went on to win his 3rd race of the year. The following week, Bill Steen finds out you need all 4 wheels on the track to win in the figure eights. Ron Harrison spins again, handing the lead to Ralph Tasso, who holds off Joe Biondolillo Jr. to the checker. If there's one race Roger Maynor would like to win all year, it's last week's Ernie Maynor Memorial. Roger blew away the field to pick up the victory, his 2nd in the race dedicated to his father. The official restaurant of Long Island Trackside is the Osborne Inn. The Osborne Inn, world famous all over Riverhead. Coming up, we'll have more racing highlights, but right now we'll leave you with a look at the point standings heading into the month of July. Riverhead Raceway. Home of the 600 horsepower modified madness. Come see these rockets blast around the quarter-mile oval. And if you dare catch a glimpse of the crazy figure eights, where the X marks the spot. Every Saturday night, catch 5 divisions of race cars rubbing fenders at Riverhead Raceway. The National Modified Tour rolls into Riverhead Raceway this weekend. And on July 2nd, see fireworks blast into the sky. Plus, the Demo Derby. Racing starts at 5:30 every Saturday night at Riverhead Raceway.
Bet you didn't know Cheap John's has all this. Quality stuff. Cheap. How do they get these prices? Very cheap.
Their prices are amazing.
I can't believe how much I save on milk, juice, and bread. I always shop at Cheap John's first.
I buy all my film here. The quality and the prices are the best.
It just doesn't get any cheaper than Cheap John's.
Steve Eager, you've just cleaned the yard, cut the grass, and trimmed the bushes. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to Splish Splash.
Splish Splash, 40 acres of summertime fun, including the incredible new Shotgun Falls. Splish Splash, LIE exit 72 West, Riverhead.
Remember this, when looking for reliable service on any BMW, make certain the price is guaranteed lowest. At Haberstad of Huntington, you can now get the best service on your BMW at the guaranteed lowest price on Long Island. Plus, you get the advantage of extended service hours and much more. Extraordinary service, convenient hours, lowest prices, guaranteed. At Haberstad of Huntington, we'll take good care of you and your car. We guarantee it.
The Legends cars made their official debut at Riverhead Raceway this past month, and let me tell you something, I'm a big fan. This Legends report is brought to you by J&J Legends of Riverhead. Just to show you how easy it is to drive one of these Legends race cars, Associate Paul Schneller and I did just that.
It wasn't set up to be a contest, but with all the hype, and well, you know how racing guys can be. I hate to admit it, but Bob did beat me. Now maybe if I speed up the tape? Nah, that won't work. Unlike Bob, however, I didn't spin it. Or stall it. And what's this about a hat?
I get to keep the hat now. We said we bet beforehand that whoever turned the fastest lap was going to get to keep the Legends cap, and I guess that was me, huh?
But in all seriousness, folks, Bob and I both enjoyed our Legends rides. The inaugural Legends race at Riverhead Raceway got off to a rocking start when John Bagshaw bumped the 29 of John Wannett. On the 4th lap of the 25-lap feature, John's dad, Jack, spun in turn 2. Fireworks broke out on lap 11 when Chris Klein smacked the wall. A great battle ensued with the 54 of Jim Lagenbach passing Johnny Tripp for second with just laps to go. But Lagenbach couldn't catch the younger Bagshaw, who cruised to victory in the first ever Legends event at Riverhead Raceway. It may have been a week before Father's Day the next time the Legends took the track, but John Bagshaw was cutting his dad Jack no slack. John badgered his pop lap after lap and finally took the top spot in traffic. But it was that same traffic that got the better of the younger Bagshaw. John and the lap car get together, enabling Jack to regain the lead and take the checker for an early Father's Day present.
I looked in the mirror there a couple of times and saw my son right on my tail, and I said, oh boy, this is going to, we're going to go for it. It was a good race, it really was. Like you said, the lap traffic came into play a little bit, but it was a good race, and I just love it.
For Long Island Trackside, I'm Paul Schneller.
Some drivers were really throwing their weight around in the Roadhog Battery Blunderbuss report, all 4,200 pounds of it. Ed Steen picked up the last feature win in May. Blunderbuss drivers were making mincemeat out of Joey Mueller a week later. Rob Gardner dug his way out of this three-way battle to take his first official win of the year. By no means was Tim Blank firing any blanks in the next event. He sped away from the field for his first victory of the year. I bet you never thought these blunderbuss cars could get airborne. Well, guess again. Chris Chirico and Joey Lombardi put on quite a show, with Chirico picking up his second checker of the season. The Modified Tour comes rolling into Riverhead Raceway this weekend, and Long Island's own Wayne Anderson is still on top of the point standings. Tony Ferrante is hanging strong in 7th, and Steve Park has made his way into the top 10. Mike Iwanitsko, still recouping from a broken arm, is 13th, and Tom Baldwin, who was suspended for 1 race, is 19th. This Modified Tour report has been brought to you by Mr. Motorsports of Riverhead. All your NASCAR Motorsports apparel is just minutes away from the raceway. And now, here's Matt Dillner.
Get ready, get set for another edition of Fast Finishes. The McBetts Racing Engine's Power Mover of the Month is Figure 8 racer Joe Biondolillo Jr. With the help of his McBetts powerhouse from Copeg, Joe won his 3rd Figure 8 feature of the season. The Merkle Hard Charger Award goes to late model driver Paul McInerney. The veteran chauffeur used a Merkle racing engine from Hopog to blow by the field last week with the greatest of ease, en route to his first win of the year. And scoring a perfect 10 in our top driver category is 2-time late model winner this month, Peter Buzzy Erickson. Perfect 10 auto refinishing and collision of West Babylon, and Long Island Trackside salute Buzzy as our top driver. For Long Island Trackside, I'm Matt Dillner.
Long Island Trackside has crossed the finish line once again, but before we go, we want to leave you with some scenes from a fair at Lindsay's All-Pro Auto Parts in Mattatuck. So until next time, we'll see you at the races.
Okay, folks, we give because Russell Thorson has elected to start in the rear in car number 39. Ed Harold points to the start-finish line. We let these cars go on the initial start, folks. We let them go out of turn number 4. On the restarts, you see that white stripe up in turn number 3. That's where they'll take off from on a restart. Now, the initial start for lap number 1 on any of these events, we start them out of turn number 4. Mark Lento to the inside, Abe Brigatti to the outside. 10 laps to be the distance, 7 cars to qualify for tonight's 20-lap feature event for the mighty Charger automobiles. Green flag flies on the turn number 4. file. I'm telling you, Teddy, you can't see it, but I'm saluting her right now.
Are you recording her?
Yes.
Okay, Brigatti now. Pose as your leader as they go down to turn number 3, where Ed Harold is pointing right now. That's where they'll restart this event. 4 laps down, 6 laps remain. Team Brigatti, car number 90 VX. Mark Lento, Danny Brennan, as well as Jack Orlando, have all come to the front. Good start for Brigatti, car number 98. Second across the line in car number 38 was Danny Brennan. Third in car number 99 was Jack Orlando. Fourth in car number 26 was Mark Lento. Fifth in car number 31 was Dennis Smith. Sixth in car number Media sponsor number 26. Out of Bedford, that'll be Mark Lento. Starting in the third starting position in the Golden Auto Body. White Post Farm sponsor number 98. That's the Fancy Farmer, Dave Brigatti. Starting in the fourth starting position. He's in the Mills Porterhouse Delicatessen. Driveway Construction number 4. Out of the Hills, that's Wally Schweizer. Starting in the fifth starting position in the Park Avenue Fuel Scorpion Race Engines. Number 2, out of Wheatley Heights, that's the Maester. Starting in the sixth starting position, he's in the Bobco Auto Parts, number 31. We'd also like to thank Ronco Paper Products of Hot Dog for their help here in 1994. That's Dennis Smith out of Rocky Point. I hit the low right button. Starting in the seventh starting position. He's in the Enron Air Conditioning in the Hillmont Plaza Shopping Center, number 90. Out of Levittown, that's Mike Carroll. Starting in the eighth starting position, he's in the Boss Laundromat AAA Auto Body Supply, number 6. Looking for automobile. He went to the infield immediately when the warm-up laps took place, and he needs the assistance of a wrecker. So we'll have to reset the field from the position back. He's supposed to start 11. Again, how is the lineup determined? Well, heat race competition is done on money earned over the past 3 weeks. The more money you made, obviously, the better you're doing. So we try to make it a little tougher and a little more equal ground by going 3 weeks back. Drivers such as Jack Orlando in the 99, Ray Maneri in the 43, George Crocker in the 28 have made more money than, let's say, Tom St. Clair, Mark Lento up front. Conti cars, the last chance to qualify race, like Howie Brody in the 96, the 50 of David Johansson, 72, Bob Baker in the 39 of Russ Thorson, start at the rear of the field basically because they missed qualifying in the heat, so they'll start scratching on the field. That's how it's done. Money earned over the past 3 weeks. The past 3 weeks, go back 3 weeks. All rookies start at the back of the pack for 3 weeks. Then on the fourth week, they'll enter 2, the money earned handicap system. Okay. And Harold points to the start-finish line. This is the mighty Charger division. Some 34 cars strong here today. 26 made it into this feature event. 20 laps to be the distance. Tom St. Clair, car number 25, sits on the pole. Mark Lindo in car number 26 is alongside for the ride. He drives in row number 2, the fancy farmer, Dave Bergani. Not used to starting this close to the front, but he's had a bad couple of weeks. He'll get a starting Trackside Bolt in the A&M Electric Automotive Discount Center's number 12 will be Dennis Krupski of Calverton. Starting third in the Conti, driving car number 99. The White Post Farms Automotive Discount Center's special, Jack Orlando. Starting fourth, driving car number 72. From Aquabot, that will be Brian Schwartz, the Well Done Well Drilling Chevy. Starting fifth, driving car number 91. He won here 2 weeks ago. The Eric's car, leading ABO Racing entry for Joe Orlando of Quitchog. Starting sixth, driving car number 64, the BJ with the charge. Of course, later on tonight, Jay Trucking, Richie and Chris Shea and the gang of Jay Trucking, Airport Service Specialty, here tonight to sponsor Figure 8 event. First Knoll looks the field over, just 3 cars to qualify. Check us out on 88.1 FM.
What place is he?
20 runners in the top 3. He has the best ride going so far here tonight. So right now it's 2 points for your first 2 cars. Yeah, so Charger Places looking if he can stay close at least a 20-point night, if he can improve maybe a little better. So Hartman, ladies and gentlemen, to shave into both Larry LaFontaine and Howie Brody's point lead. Don't forget, next Saturday night, right here, ladies and gentlemen, at Riverhead Raceway, it will be the 8th annual Charlie Jerzobak Memorial to honor the memory of Charlie Jerzobak, 5-time Riverhead Raceway modified champion time trials for the Charlie Jerzobak Memorial will got by Mike Harrell for second. And I'll tell you, if there's a driver out there that wanted to see the caution flag, it was Danny Brennan, because without the caution flag, they were getting ready to click off the 18th lap, and there was a lot of space between Ron Hall and Danny Brennan. But now with the caution flag, Brennan pulls right up to the back bumper of his Glencoe neighbor, Skip Von Holt. Brennan, of course, signing Parkview Motors, Oyster Bay. Suffolk Life newspapers, thanks mainly to Cheryl Heather. Pick up your weekly edition of the Suffolk Life, and week after week, you'll see a story concerning the Riverhead Raceway. Now, the edition you get like on Thursday and Friday will not have the Saturday night before's events, but from a Saturday about a week and a half ago. No matter, we are getting some great exposure. Suffolk Life, Philmont family publication, based here in Riverhead, just down the road from the raceway, in all areas of distributorship. So make sure you take time to write a letter or give them a call out at Suffolk Life. And thank you very much. They print the press release verbatim. They put some pictures of victory made and action shots in, as well as the point standings as they have it most currently in their records. So big thank you to the gang at Suffolk Life for their recent support. Don't forget, we are still conducting the Memories of Iceland Speedway contest. That's right. Now, we mentioned this earlier in the year, and we really haven't harped on it enough, but as the deadline comes up for entries, you know, it'll be 10 years this year since Iceland Speedway has been closed. We'll tell you a little bit more about an essay contest, and perhaps to win you 2 tickets to the Riverhead Raceway. You have to do that. Riverhead Raceway Awards Banquet in November. The Memories of Iceland Speedway contest. We'll talk more about that later on. Tell you that you can get involved. Right now, though, we are still trying to finish this Charger set, which is nearing by about 8 minutes. It's a 20-minute time limit. That's the pronunciation. So that works. Get to any credit, get past, skip, on, home. outside pole out of Deer Park, driving car number 28. That will be the Rocket George Rocket to strap into the Ace Farm Records machine. Starting third, driving car number 99. That's the White Post Farm. Automotive Discount Center's machine from Riverhead, Jack Rolando. Starting fourth, in car number 42, the Martin Landy sponsored Eastport Auto Parts machine at Eastport Auto Parts with the new location now on Eastport Manor Road. Driving car number 42, Dave McCumber at Manorville. Starting fifth, driving the Excel engines, Foxhill Country Club, number 26, from Bedford, Mark Lindo. Starting sixth, driving car number 05. That, of course, is the A&E hard cleaning automobile for Joe Hartman. Starting seventh, driving car number 53. He wants to welcome Diamond Construction of Miller Place as a sponsor on his automobile. That's the Pensetta machine for Larry LaFontaine of Miller Place. Starting eighth, driving car number 90. That is Mike Harold out of Levittown, the Spinelli Murray Motorsports Long Island Spring Works number 90. Starting 10th, driving car number 7. That is the US 1 Auto Parts Borderline Cafe Skip Games Nova for Scott Lehman out of Aspen. Starting 11th, driving car number 77. That's the Progressive Karting Brandon Associates machine for Skip Von Holt out of Gutco. Starting 12th, driving car number 31. Tonka Auto Parts sponsors this automobile, along with Ronco Paper Products, the driver from Rocky Point, Dennis Smith. Starting 13th, driving car number 06. 3 engineers powered by 18 or 19 unofficially having a 2.9. And all Dave is installed to play into the hands of the driver of car number 53, the Diamond Construction machine. Everything's going his way so far. George the Rocket Rocket, he's looking for a win. Here on Championship of the Flemington, New Jersey Speedway. Here with the starting lineup for the Charger feature held over from last week, Steve Alvin. Steve?
Thank you, Bob. Starting on the pole in the ABC towing number 50 out of Glenhead, that'll be David Johansson. On the outside pole, he's in the Muller Landscaping sponsor number 25 out of Huffon, it's Tom St. Clair. Starting from the third starting position, the Bobka Auto Parts sponsor number 31. That, of course, will be Dennis Smith out of Rocky Point. Starting in the fourth starting position in the Osborne Inn Local Magic sponsor number 06, that'll be Bob Baker out of Riverhead. Starting in the fifth starting position in the Crescent Beach Automotive number 78 out of Glencoe, it'll be Peter Malillo. Starting in the sixth starting position, he's in the Martin Landy sponsor number 42. Eastport Auto Parts sponsor on the automobile as well for Dave McCumber out of Manorville. starting in the 7th starting position. He's in the Bellingham's Restaurant, number 96, the Beaver's Towing, sponsored automobile for the Beaver himself, Howie Brody out of Bayshore. Starting in the 8th starting position, he's in the Island Aerial Lands, number 14, out of Mastic, it's Mike Mortimer, starting in the 9th starting position. The River City Billiards sponsored, number 43, that of course will be Radiant Raymond Erie from Bayshore, starting in the 10th starting position. The Unicorn Motors, Jack Merkel Racing Engine sponsored, number 13, that'll be Bill Eastman out of Charlotte, starting in the 11th starting position. Everybody for turn number 2. Stevie O'Connor's Barber and Jeff Property have announced that the Legend race cars will have an added race date for 1994. That's right. Saturday, September the 3rd, Labor Day Saturday, of course, that to be a night where we have a 50-lap late model feature along with more regular divisions. The Legend race cars. The Legend race cars to run just a 25-lap feature.
What place is he in now?
He was in 6th when they stopped the race.
But was there an accident and he went back to 2nd? Didn't he kind of pass all that spaghetti?
Yeah, I don't know.
But then they put the yellow flag out right away, so he might have zipped around it and get zipped out of it again.
Ah, yeah, because he didn't complete,
Yeah, because he didn't complete a lap. Because he was right behind number 50 after the accident.
Just fluid on the raceway. We're trying to find out who is dropping it. It's a car that remains out there, I believe. Take a look at Howie Brody's number 96, the right front wheel. Hammer on that thing is way out of whack. Earlier in the event, he and Dave McCumber got together. McCumber hit the wall, and Brody was Dollars to the right front. Somebody out there is losing fluid, and it could very well be car number 96, Howie Brody. Oh, maybe 43, Raymond Erie.
Ah, shit, it's Dennis.
The second place car, Raymond Erie, loses the fluid.
I told you.
So Raymond Erie was on the move and came to second. Losing the fluid. He's the one. He'll enter the pit area now. Well, Steve, we have a couple of seasonal Charger sponsors for 1994. And tonight it's their night, a third attempt at it. Charlie Rizzo of Auto Tech and Larry Coster of Golden Auto Body having their night at the race program here tonight at Riverhead Raceway. And they, in tandem, sponsor the Charger division for 1994. The home business is located in College Point, Queens. Autotech is a state-of-the-art diagnostic center that troubleshoots any problems with today's computerized automobile. While Golden Auto Body is a full-service auto body facility that can do it all, from minor touch-ups to heavy collision repair. Call Autotech 718-463-3366. To reach Golden Auto Body, you dial 718-939-2006. And the Landmark Cafe is signed on for 1994 as well. Their first season of involvement